Infrastructure Australia, in its report in 2015, looking at the future infrastructure requirements in Australia, noted that AVs were an important factor to consider in the future, but didn't factor them in terms of any of the short, medium or long-term infrastructure investment. Now, I can understand that because our infrastructure investment in Australia is lagging so far behind that essentially between now and 2031, it's catch-up. Now, most of that infrastructure is being built in a way that would be sufficient to accommodate, not facilitate, AV. And if we combine that with the thinking in Australia around smart infrastructure, but in particular intelligent transport systems, which we are very good at in Australia, which is sensor-embedded traffic network management, then we begin to understand that our infrastructure is going to be in a position to be able to work with AV, but it will be insufficient. And by that I mean, what will happen in the short run with the introduction of AV, there will be a significant increase in vehicles on the road. Now, in a mixed fleet situation, you do not get the benefits with AVs of actually increasing the capacity of your infrastructure. So, for example, the forecasts have been that if vehicles on a freeway were fully automated, in other words, they could conduct their own spacing and they could thread appropriately and didn't slam on the brakes, etc., then you could get around a 30% increase in capacity on a freeway. But in a mixed fleet situation, you can't get that. All you can get is more vehicles on the road. So from an infrastructure point of view, the new infrastructures will be fine. There will be an interesting amount of work that needs to be done on old infrastructures, but by world standards, Australian road infrastructure is actually very good. We have transport capacity problems with public transport, and so, for example, if you wanted to run a system, and I think this is the kind of system you would run, where automated vehicles do not actually take you from suburb into the CBD, but they take you from suburb to mass public transport, or they operate inside a CBD, in other words, it's not a go-to, it's an inside movement pattern, then there would need to be significant new thinking and new investment in infrastructure to get that kind of outcome. If we looked at America, who've been thinking about AV longer than we have, there was a study conducted of 70 of the most recent metropolitan strategies, of which 6 of the 70 actually even mentioned the word autonomous vehicle. And in Australia, no metropolitan strategy takes any account of what the spatial impacts and implications of automated vehicles might look like. So it's all new, and it's time for us to wake up and really begin to look at how do we introduce new technologies in a way that provides social, economic and environmental benefits. And that will require us rethinking not only our metropolitan strategies, but our infrastructure strategies as well.